What is up, Janksters? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHocks42 on the internet, and today we're going to be opening up a collector booster box of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, the newest set with all kinds of heat in it. I'm very much looking forward to that. But before we dive into the box opening, I want to give a huge shout out to MagicJank.com, where they are actually running a sale up until the end of the year. So for the holiday season, there is 15% off all Quiver products. That's right, those really swanky, basically pieces of luggage that you see people carrying around at your local game store or conventions that carry their decks, dice, their tokens, everything that you need in order to play this game that we love. Board states are getting complex. Make sure that you are rolling up to your local game store in style for the holidays. It's 15% off over at magicjank.com. You will be hard pressed to find a better deal than that. So thank you, Quiver, and thank you, magicjank.com, for making that happen. With that, let's go ahead and get into this box. Hopefully we found some good stuff. Fingers crossed for that mana crypt. As you can see, still factory sealed. Oh, check it out. I love how they've added foil elements to the boxes themselves. Little things like that go a long way to just make the product just feel special, you know? Great job, Wizards. Well done. You've had the technology this whole time, so I love the fact. I know it's not new that they do that. They've been doing that for some time, but I don't know. It still makes me happy. It's the little things, you know? Especially with a collector product. They give it just a little glitz, a little sparkle. Look at that. Let's go. All right, so here we have the box topper, very important. And we have the packs themselves. Alrighty, Roo. It begins now. So let's go ahead and just get started. Let's not bury the lead. Box topper time. What do we got? Mana crypt? I'm pretty sure this is where the mana crypt would show up. I should know this. All right. Somewhere there's a little knob, and it's always fun opening one of these single card packs because it's only a single card. They're especially tricky, and you also know that this might be the most valuable card in the whole pack, so you got to be really careful. And I'm not, as you can see. Well, I'm careful, but I am clumsy as well. So here we go. I'm trying to not fail this dex check. So far, it's not going great. I'm just going to take 10 minutes and take 20 on it. And if anybody gets that reference, let's be friends. All right. What can I say? 3.5 was a beautiful system. Holy cow. You seeing this? Like, I just got this little corner. There we go. We'll brute force it. We'll figure it out. Whoop. There we go. All right. We got a fancy Lightning Greaves. Let's go. You can never have too many copies of Lightning Greaves. You know what? This is going to go ahead and go right into the plastic. So if you're not familiar with Lightning Greaves, it was actually first printed back in Mirrodin, and it was one of the first pieces of equipment that the game ever saw. Giving a creature haste and shroud and equipping for 0. Bonkers good. In games of Commander, that thing is nothing short of fantastic. So I'm not mad to see that. And that's one of those cards that, like, even the regular, like the cheapest printing will always be a pricey card. And then when they print fancy showcase versions like this, you know people are going to want to bling out their Commander decks. So great. That's a great hit. Could never go wrong. I didn't get the big Colossus hammer, which of course I'm partial to, but that's okay. These are for Magic Jank, not for my personal collection, so it's all good. All right. So here we go. Starting things off, we got the Hunter's Blowgun, Deadweight, Ancestor's Aid, Glory of Suffering, Sorcerer's Spyglass, cool little piece of tech, Bat Colony, this is that payoff for that Bats deck that allegedly people are able to pull off in draft. I haven't seen it. I've tried it. Yeah, anyway, more on that in the Magic Jank podcast, the most recent episode as of this recording anyway. And then we have Captain Lannery Storm, Cosmian Raider, pretty good signpost uncommon there. Ooh, these fancy lands, you love to see them. Ooh, we got a Cyclaw Raptor. This thing is actually pretty savage. If opponents are playing stuff on your turn, you're just blasting them. That's a beautiful thing. Let's start blasting. Oh, and then we got a foil Breaches, Eager Pillager. If you're playing Pirates, that little guy is awesome. Speaking of if you're playing Pirates, we have the Kite Sail Larcenist. This is the extended art non-foil. Scion of Calamity coming from the Commander deck, 5/5 for 3 red with Myriad, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. That's dope right there. If you're doing dinosaurs, that's just a solid 5-drop. Ooh, we got the Showcase Restless Ridgeline. You gotta love the creature lands. They do good work. All right, we got a Jurassic World Forest. So that's pretty darn cool, although the Jurassic World slot in these collector boosters, It's always a bummer when they're taken up by lands, because there's some real bangers that could have been in that slot. And here we got a forest. It's a cool forest. Everyone needs forests if you're running green, but anyway. All right, so then our foil rare here, we have the Warden of the Inner Sky, and then we also have the copy token / bat token. So all right, not a terrible first pack. So what were our money hits there? What were our best hits? Honestly, yeah, it looks like, so we got Breaches, the Larcenist, Sign of Calamity, Restless Ridgeline. I'll put the Jurassic World Dance here separate. So yeah, those are our rares. Okay, not mad at that. All right, next up. Let's keep on cruising, baby. Hopefully we're gonna see some packs that have a little bit more heat than that, but that's okay. Obviously not every pack in a box is gonna be a winner. We have plenty of time to find the real bangers. All right, doodle-doodle-doo. Again, my clumsiness on full display. Let's go. All right, Family Reunion, Malamet Scythe, Frilled Caveworm, Hidden Necropolis, the one of the caves, Dowsing Device, not a terrible piece. Ooh, here we have Akawali, the Seething Tower. This is my favorite of the signpost uncommons. We also have the Ruin Lurker Bat. Ooh, pretty forest. All right. You don't see it. Ooh, here we have the Showcase Foil Bartolome del Presidio. Oh, what am I talking about? This dude's one of the signpost uncommons. Honestly, I keep forgetting this guy's an uncommon because he's so dope. I always just assume he's a rare. Yeah, this card's insane. Free sack outlet. Let's go. We also have, Mazzolanti, the Great Door. So if you're doing commander stuff and you like your graveyard filled, this thing does the job beautifully. You'll love to see it. Sunken Citadel, it enters battlefield tapped, and you choose a color. It's 1 mana of that color, or if you're activating abilities of your lands, you can actually get 2 mana of that particular color. So pretty cool if you're doing land shenanigans. It's quite good. All right, here we have Francisco, Foul Marauder. So we've got just pirates, all day pirates. Here, let me... You know what, I'm actually going to go ahead and, these are commons and uncommons, and we're going to go ahead and just set the rares aside. So yeah, we got more pirate action. Ooh, here we have Sovereign Okanect Ahan? I actually can't see it, and I don't remember exactly how it's pronounced. In any case, we have Kitty Sovereign. So one of the many Kitty Sovereigns in the game of Magic the Gathering. This particular one wants your team buffed, and it wants to keep them buffed. And then those buffs compound. So if you haven't had the opportunity to go off with this thing, you're missing out. It's actually a lot of fun. If you enjoy just putting dice on all your stuff, this guy's got you. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. All right, so here we have another land. This one's the Plains. They do travel in herds, everybody. All right. Woo! All right, we got the foil Showcase Galta Stampede Tyrant. That's fantastic. You're doing big dumb dino nonsense. It doesn't get much better than that. Woo! All right, and then here we have a map token and a golem token. All right, good. All right, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. In fact, you know what? I've got plastic right on hand. I'm thinking that one deserves... I don't know exactly if that one is worth, like as much of those lightning greaves, but I'm going to go ahead and set it aside. If I have a sneaking suspicion, that one's a good hit. All right. Because people love doing big dumb dino nonsense. It's just satisfying to watch big number go big, and Galta lets you do that in a very big fashion. For 8 mana, it's just stupid. There are a handful of cards right now that have been put in recent sets where if you get to like 7 or 8 mana, you can just get 50 mana worth of stuff if the circumstances align, and Galta is absolutely one of those. And in Commander, it's going to be not hard to pull off at all. Not even close. All right. Pathfinding Axejaw, Rampaging Spiketail, all good. I mean, honestly, the lower rarity cards in this set are really good role players. Skullblack Snail, the Sting Cave Crawler. I mean, a 1/3 Death Toucher for 3 that when it attacks, if you've descended, or if you have Descent 4, so if you've met that threshold, it just draws you cards. I mean, in a lot of decks, this is just a second copy of Phyrexian Arena, and on a body that can like chump and trade up. Like, that's dope. That's actually a really solid little card. I don't know, the quality of lower rarity cards these days has gotten so good that all of a sudden, doing anything with like budget commander, you're gonna have no trouble at all. All right, so here we have the very pretty Showcase Plains. Actually, I should have those separate. Earthshaker Dreadmaw. Again, if you're doing dino nonsense, this is the new Dreadmaw. I love and hate this card because they took Colossal Dreadmaw and made a good playable version that you can justify putting in your Gishath EDH decks, aside from just the fact that it's awesome. The problem is, the reason we all love Colossal Dreadmaw because the card was bad. This card is good. This doesn't carry on the legacy of Dreadmaw appropriately as a direct result of that, but it's a great card. Oh, here we go. Here we have the Skull Spore Nexus. This is a pretty cool mythic that cares if you're doing like big power stuff, because if your creatures are dying, all of a sudden you're just getting more big power stuff. So pretty cool mythic. You're happy to see it. Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Here we have the Extended Art non-foil version. This is a rare from the set that helps you descend, and it likes it when you descend. And if you get if you descend 3 turns, if you descend at least once on 3 different turns, counters tick up and it flips into Tekatlan, the Searing Rift, which can tap for a red mana and basically gives any spell used with that mana cascade, like legit cascade. It's Discover X. Actually, it's even better because it's Discover X, where X is the spell's mana cost and it triggers on cast. So it behaves very similar to Cascade, although it's Discover and it's not for 1 less than the mana value of what you're casting. It's the exact mana value of the thing you're casting. And if you hit a spell that's not particularly good on the current board state, you can put it into your hand. So it's like strictly better Cascade once this thing's live. It's pretty silly. This card's overperformed for me quite a bit in my various brews. All right. And for the Commander product, we have Illustrious Wanderglyph, 2/2 for 5 with Ascend, which means if you have 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing. Other artifacts you control get +2/+2 as long as you have the City's Blessing. Wow, okay. So it's Tempered Steel on a body, potentially. And at the beginning of each upkeep, you create a 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature token. Ooh, if you're going wide with like artifact creatures, this is actually a pretty cool include. You know, it's a 2/2 for 4, or for 5 rather, so you really got to mean it. But if you're going wide, you know, it gives you a lot. I like that. That's a cool design. All right, Akal Pakal, First Among Equals. This is a 1/5 for 3, and this is the showcase version, non-foil. At the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Drawing more cards with selection, and it can fill your yard. Yes, with the side of yes. Did I mention yes? Because yes. All right. This is the 3rd pack where we've opened up a land from the Jurassic Park slot, or the Jurassic World slot. A little bit of a bummer. I was hoping for some more gas in those slots. Hopefully we'll see some in some of the later packs. Then we also have the Preacher of the Schism. This is actually, if you're doing vampire action, this thing is just really solid. Again, it's the 3-drop you want. You would think that there'd be some kind of downside on cards like this, and there just isn't. All that text is all good. And this is the foil extended art, which is great. Here we have the treasure token, and it is also a fungus on the backside, so rock on. All right, groovy cool. And I know full well, by the way, that I should be separating the tokens and the lands. I have not done a good job about that thus far. You know what? I'm going to start that right now. I know there are some from those first 2 packs in there. I'll sort it out. All right. I'm not going to make you watch that, though, because I know that's, like, killer content. Not like the me struggling with rappers content that I know you came here for. Because, oh boy, howdy. We got that covered. I have opened hundreds of booster packs in my life, if not thousands at this point. Still don't have it down. You know, someday I will figure this out, but I fear I actually won't. Potentially ever. That's okay. All right, Rumbling Rockslide. Petrify, yeah, shockingly good in Limited. Ray of Ruin, shockingly bad in Limited. Normally, like, the 5-drop big exile a thing, like big dumb removal is usually decent. I have not had good success with that in Limited. Burning Sun's Cavalry, this one, however, really solid aggressive 2-drop. You'll love to see it. Calamitous Cave In, if you're doing the cave deck. Boom, Caves Ablaze. Ixali's Lore Keeper, if you're doing dinos, this is about the best 1-drop you could possibly ask for. We don't get 1-drop dorks printed in standard legal sets very often, and when we do, they come with caveats. So if you can meet the caveat here, it's just fantastic. Dauntless Dismantler, rock on. All right, and then we have a Swamp as our fancy land in this pack. You'll love to see it. Ooh, Isquinth, Firstborn of Gishath, another awesome Signpost Uncommon. The legendaries in this set at the Signpost Uncommon slot are really solid, and this is no exception. So rock on, Isquinth. Rock on. Did I mention rock on? Rock on. Bringer of the Last Gift. Speaking of just doing the horns and things that are absolutely metal, this card definitely qualifies. This is a 6/6 for 8 with flying, that if you cast it, you get Living Death. Living Death is an incredibly powerful effect, and it needs to be kind of reined in a little bit. Like, I get that. 8 mana is way too much, in my opinion, for it, but I don't know. It's a cool card all the same, and I've definitely gotten blown out by it. So it is a powerful effect. Of that, there's no question. All right, here we have Corpses of the Lost. This is an enchantment that cares about skeletons. It boosts skeletons, it makes skeletons, it can bounce. You do all kinds of great things with this thing. It's quite good. All right, here we have the Wrathful Raptors from the Commander set. 5/5 Trampler for 4 and a red. Whenever a dinosaur you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dinosaur. So it's not an infinite, like, enrage enabler, but at the same time, your board all of a sudden becomes, well, they all become like stuffy dolls, kind of. Or, you know, your, what is it, your Brash Taunters. So this is kind of a Wrathful Red Dragon, but for dinos. That's stupid good. Woo! Here we go. We have the Showcase Molten Collapse. Yo, dog, I heard you like Dreadbore. So we just gave you a strictly better Dreadbore. Yeah, we got that going on. This card's insane. Like, it is very, very good. So sick. Very happy to see that. Here we go. All right. So we got the Jurassic World slot, and we actually hit an actual card, not just a land. Happy to see it. Spitting Dilophosaurus. You know, Wayne Knight getting absolutely wrecked by an animatronic dino, forever immortalized in cardboard. You love to see it. 3/2 for 2 and a black. Whenever Spitting Dilophosaurus enters the battlefield or attacks, you put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature, and creatures your opponents control with -1/-1 counters on them can't block. You love to see it. That is just fantastic. Ooh, here we have the Showcase Foil Throne of the Grim Captain. This is a card that requires you to do a whole bunch of build around, or a whole bunch of, a whole bunch of build around. But when you do, holy cow, this thing becomes an absolute, well, a menace. And appropriately, it does in fact have menace. So a cool card. Also gorgeous in that frame, if I may say. So yeah, good stuff there. Dino Egg, Dinosaur. Actually, that's just, I'm glad that that's the double face there. The egg that cracks into the dinosaur. That's great. All right. Cool, cool, cool. We're going to keep on cruising, baby. Oh, see, here we go. That was almost, I mean, well, this pack started really well. The rip was really good to begin with, and then just sort of petered out. All right. Cool, cool. Wanderglyph, Disturbed Slumber. Man, the artwork on Disturbed Slumber. Oh, man. Those guys are having a bad day. I love it. All right, Iron Paw Aspirant, quite solid. Tinker's Toe, this is a limited all-star right here. Opened out of a collector's pack, so what do we do with that? All right, Council of Echoes. Defossilize. This is the 5 mana reanimate a thing from this set, and then this particular one you also get to explore twice when it enters the battlefield. Not bad. Clay Fairy Bricks. All right, cool, cool, cool. That is the Unwashed Masses, as it were. And here we go. We got a fancy island. You'll love to see it. Ooh, Captain Storm. So yeah, here's our Signpost Uncommon, or Showcase. Yeah, Captain Storm, rock on. So whenever artifacts enter the battlefield, you put counters on pirates. What more do you want? So pirates care about treasures? Of course they do. That's pretty solid. Good stuff. All right, Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. This is the regular artwork in foil. If you're doing aggressive action, this little guy is a great 2-drop. So good stuff there. Jadelight Spelunker. This is actually one of the best, like, standard role players that we've got in the set. It's a 1/1 for 1, or, well, with an X in its in its casting cost, I should say. When it enters the battlefield, it explores X times. So you get phenomenal card selection. You either work through a big mana pocket at the top of your deck, or you can basically hand select what you're going to draw, and this thing might get huge in the process. Very cool. It's a really cool design. Being able to stack exploration on top of each other like that is really cool, and you know, you're never really mad at this because it is a Merfolk Scout as well. So if you're doing the Merfolk thing, it could just be a 1/1 Merfolk for 1 that can trigger some other stuff later and synergize with the rest of your game plan. Nothing wrong with that, right? But then if you draw it late in the game, you just dump a whole bunch of mana into this thing, and it can be large, and it might draw you a bunch of cards. Cool. Like, I don't know. It's a good design. I like it. All right, here we have a Dinosaur Egg. 0/3 for 1 green with Evolve. When Dinosaur Egg dies, you may discover X, where X is its toughness. So minimum, you're getting 3 off this thing, unless it gets hit by like a toughness reduction effect. You know, your Meat Hook Massacres and the like. Those will kind of stymie this. But the fact that it has Evolve, like, it literally just like grows as it goes. Additionally, this Dinosaur Egg, this egg does not have Defender. So as it grows, as it evolves, it might grow large, and it's also a dinosaur. So if you have like dinosaur lords and things, all of a sudden, this egg, I don't know, is it rolling at your opponent? I don't know the flavor there, but it's a cool card all the same. All right. Ooh, here we go. This is a banger. This is Ohertak Deepest Foundation. As a standard player, I'm telling people constantly to not play this card. In standard, this card is an absolute trap. However, commander players, as I've said a couple of times in this video, Commander players love doing the big dumb and letting the numbers go big. Ohertok triples token generation. And it can be in your command zone. There will always be a market for these kinds of effects. As a result, this one gets the plastic. Yeah, Ohertok, Deepest Foundation, good stuff. Boom, baby. All right, and then our Jurassic World from this particular pack. It is a land, but this one is at least the command tower. So I think that is a much better hit compared to the basics. So we'll take that. All right, and here we go. We have the foil showcase Restless Vents. If you're in Rakdos and you need a critter land, boom, we got you. Pretty good stuff. You'll love to see it. And then our token is the Gnome and Gnome Soldier. So very cool. All right, that pack was feeling pretty good. Honestly, Ohertok, that was a fantastic hit. That was, yeah. I'm very happy to see that. Because that's one of those cards that, like, even if it doesn't put up any kind of numbers, people will spend $40 on it. Like, I guarantee it. And to get the showcase version, it's non-foil, but even so, to have the showcase one, I know that will be sought after. I guarantee. Because, you know, Timmy's gonna Timmy, baby. And I respect it. I'm a bit of a Timmy myself. So, you know, going off with counters or tokens, it feels great. I understand. And that is a card that in Commander can make it so that, you know, you were probably going to win. Now you're definitely going to win. It's one of those. Kind of similar to Mondrak. You know, standard players, like, never see that thing. But in Commander, it's great. Same vibe. Same deal. All right. Cool. Ooh, Inverted Iceberg. Here we go. That's pretty solid if you're doing the Descent thing. Acolyte of Aklazats. It's pretty lousy. Also, I actually just pronounced Aklazats quickly on my first go. I'm pretty proud of that. Not going to lie. All right, so yeah, we got the kind of unwashed masses. These are fine, nothing wrong with any of these. But they're more or less draft cards, so we're just going to go ahead and set them aside with the draft cards. We have a Montagna foil. You love to see it. Thrashing Bronodon in the showcase. This is just a good utility piece, although admittedly it has gotten a bit slow by today's standards, which is a little bit of a bummer. That said, that showcase, that's pretty right there. That's actually really well done. I like it. But yeah, cool card. Not mad to see it. All right. Deep Fathom Echo. This is a Simic Merfolk Spirit, 4/4/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, it explores. Then you may have it become a copy of another creature you control until end of turn. Dang, yo. That thing's just... That has some very powerful potential. And that's great. That's what we need to see. Whenever you're making copies of stuff, you're going to have a good time. Unstable Glyph Bridge. This is non-foil, but it is the extended art. This is the Sunfall of this set. It wipes the board, and then it can flip into a stacks piece on the backside. That also is a 5-power flyer, by the way. No big deal, just saying. So if you need a sweeper that leaves something behind, and for some reason you don't have a Sunfall, this is not a bad option. But yeah, good card. All right, here we have Sunfrill Imitator. 3/3 for 3 is from the Commander product. Whenever it attacks, you may have it become a copy of another target dinosaur you control, except his name is Sunfrill Imitator, and it has this ability. So if it becomes another creature, but it retains its name, that means it can become a copy of a legend. So if you throw down Galta Stampede Tyrant, for example, vomit your hand, including the Earthshaker Dreadmaw, you draw a whole bunch of fresh cards, and then you go to combat, Sunfrill Imitator can swing, become a copy of... Oh, no, it wouldn't have entered the battlefield. Never mind. It could become a copy of Gishath, though, so that now all of a sudden there are two Gishaths hitting your opponent, and you get to, you know, trigger it multiple times then, depending on what gets through. Yeah, scary stuff. So never mind the Galta, as I was discussing it. Oh, holy cow, we just manifested that into existence. So the Sunfrill Imitator is going to become a copy of this Gishath right here. This is the new, I believe that's a watercolor artwork. This is the showcase art for Gishath, Sun's Avatar. Whoo, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. I love to see it. Yep, there we go. Sunfrill Imitator just letting me know, hey, by the way, we got some good stuff coming. We take that. Bam. Oh, you love to see it. All right, then in our Jurassic Park slot, we have Owen Grady, Raptor Trainer. This is Chris Pratt's character. And if you're like, wait, his character had a name? Yes, he did, and it was Owen. So here we go. Not mad at that. Oh, we have the Foil Showcase Trumpeting Carnosaur. This thing has been making some waves in some older formats like Pioneer and Explorer. Like there are some Cascade decks that leverage it as like this, or not Cascade, Discover, but they feel like Cascade decks that leverages it as like this really silly finisher. So here's the Showcase Foil. You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and put that one in some plastic because I think Discover 5 upon ETB is, you know, on a 6-drop is a big freaking deal. It just lines up very nicely in the curve. Any format where Eldritch Evolution is legal, this thing is probably going to see some play. All right, then we have a Treasure and a Spirit. Those are 2 perfectly good tokens to have access to. So we are halfway through the box. Let's keep on cruising. What else we got? All right. Oh, almost. Almost had it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Cool. Electric Drop, Shadow Volcano, 10 of... All right, I'm just going to kind of glance through these. Yeah, Master's Guide Mural, pretty good signpost uncommon. Nothing wrong with that. All right, Fancy Mountain, groovy cool. Oh, I put the token in the land spot. Boom. Ukenbach, the Great Mistake. We've all had a couple of mistakes in our life. Fortunately, I don't believe many of those has become an undead skeletal horror from Beyond the Grave. But whoever did make this mistake, man, I feel for you. That sucks. Yeah, this thing's pretty nasty. It's and it's the showcase foil, so not mad at that. All right, here we have the Wall of the Forgotten, sorcery for blue-black with Descend 8. Choose one if there are 8 or more permanents in your graveyard as you cast a spell. Choose one or more instead. So you get Entwine if you have Descend 8. Return target island permanent to its owner's hand. Target opponent discards a card and or look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. This is great design because if you have the Descend, added bonus, you get, you know, potentially all 3 of them if it's relevant. But any one of those modes is fine. You know, the opponent discarding a card for 2 mana at sorcery speed, that's not great, but if they're down to only 1 card in your hand, if you're doing like Liliana of the Veil shenanigans, Mind Rot, Go Blank, that kind of thing, if you're attacking the hand, that's not bad. Like that's an okay effect, and sometimes it's exactly what you need. But being able to return a non-land permanent, so bounce something, or just look at the top 3 cards, grab one into your hand, the rest in your graveyard. I mean, that is, what is it? That's strategic planning, I want to say. It's not a bad effect. So it's just kind of good all around. And if you can get all 3, then it can have a real meaningful impact for 2 mana. So cool. Good design. You like to see it. All right. Dire Flail. Group creature gives +2/+0 and equips for 1 and it can craft. So this is if Bone Splitter was red, you get this. But it has the craft ability and it can become the Dire Blunderbuss. So the flail turns into a gun. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and as whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice an artifact other than Dire Blunderbuss. When you do, this creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature. So that's kind of fun. So you put it on a large creature, and then you can fling a map token, but it keys off of the creature's power. That has some potential right there. So if you have a lot of if you're in a deck that has a lot of artifacts lying around, like the pirate, like the Is It Pirate deck that Ixalan is clearly trying to tee up, that could be really powerful. Like that could be quite the finisher. So okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on you, Dire Flail. All right. Topography Tracker. This is a 2/2 for 3. When it enters the battlefield, create a map token. If a creature you control would explore, instead it explores, then it explores again. Double explore on a 2/2 for 3. Great. And it's a Merfolk if you care about that. Merfolk Scout even. So if you're going to do some Scout shenanigans, then hey, that's an option. I don't know that there's a Scout deck out there, but I don't know. Why not? Somebody's going to make it happen, I'm sure. All right. Groovy. Cool. So, yep. Oh, here we go. Bringer of the Last Gift. Oh, this is the, this is the Living Death creature that we saw earlier. This one, however, is in the non-foil showcase, which is pretty, I gotta say. So if you're ramping, this is actually a really cool top end, so I'm not mad at it. All right. Ooh, here we go. So in our Jurassic World slot, we got the Grim Gigantosaurus. 5 black-green for a 10/10, and you can pay 10 black-green, so 12. Monstrosity 10. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each creature with power 4 or greater your opponent's control. In certain games of Commander, that's going to be not hard to get to. When Grim Gigantosaurus becomes monstrous, destroy all artifacts and creatures other than Grim Gigantosaurus. Holy cow. And, by the way, when it becomes monstrous, when you get that monstrosity, it's monstrosity 10, meaning it gets 10 +1/+1 counters. So the entire board is going to be wiped of all artifacts and creatures except for a 2020 dinosaur on your side of the board. That seems pretty nice. So that's pretty slick. I like it. Whoo! Okay, here's actually a really big deal. We got the Showcase Foil Roaming Throne. This is a 4/4 Golem for 4 with Ward 2. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Roaming Throne is the chosen creature type, in addition to its other types. And if a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. So if you have, if you name Dinosaur, and all of a sudden, hit with a Gishath, or you hit or drop the Trumpeting Carnosaur, all of a sudden you're getting those triggers twice. There are other things you can do with this. I've seen people use it alongside Shelter of the Apocalypse, naming Phyrexian or Praetor, and then all of a sudden, like, the life swing just doubles its effectiveness. In Standard, I don't, endorse that particular strategy, but the sky's the limit on this thing. This is a trigger doubler, and it's not just ETBs, by the way. So it's any trigger coming off of one of your creatures of a certain type. The sky's the limit on this thing. It's going to be, you can abuse this in a lot of really cool ways. So that one is a big time card from this set. So great. And that's the foil showcase variant, which, I mean, what more could you look for? What more could you ask for? That's the expression. That's the cliche I'm looking for. All right, groovy cool. Check this one out. I almost got this package opened without looking like a boob. Almost being the operative word there. All right. We got the various and sundry commons. We got Spelunking at uncommon. That's a good hit. Happy to see that. War's Cry, Rampaging Ceratops, groovy, cool. Yeah, Spelunking is a pretty solid uncommon. That one might see some major play in some other formats. You give me Growth Spiral and Amulet of Vigor all on one monocolor card. Yes, please. All right, Fancy Island. Thrashing Bronodon is back again. Here we have our first rare is Braided Net. Perfectly fine artifact if you're doing the artifact thing. Ooh, here we have the threefold Thunderhawk. I don't know how you would thunderfold something, or what would you describe as being thunderfolded. That doesn't make any sense. But here we have the Thunderhawk. This is 3 gnomes in a trench coat, and it's actually a pretty darn cool card. It gives me vibes of the automaton from Zendikar Rising, that the name is escaping me right now, or like a Mirror Battlesphere. It's kind of like a gnome Battlesphere kind of vibe. Hangerback Walker, that kind of thing. It's a big artifact that makes little artifacts, and yeah, and it grows as you go. So it's a pretty cool card. I'm sure I'm butchering that description, but you know what I'm saying. All right. From the Commander product, we have Clavileño, First of the Blessed. 2/2 for 1 white-black. Vamp Cleric. Whenever you attack, target attacking vampire that isn't a demon becomes a demon. In addition to its other types, it gains when this creature dies, draw a card, and create a tapped 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying. Wow. So it's giving a perpetual death trigger to one of your other attackers that might be a small inconsequential demon. And so now all of a sudden your opponent's in a position where they really don't want to kill that thing. I like that. That's actually really cool. And the fact that it doesn't allow you to target demons with it means that you can't stack it multiple times and give that text to something like 3 or 4 times and then sacrifice it once, because that'd be absurd. So I'm glad they have a check for that. Yeah, cool card. Ooh, here we go. Oher Kaslim, Deepest Growth in the showcase art. This is, yeah, if you're doing the green thing, this is a really solid 5-drop. It helps you if you want to win more in a lot of situations. And I have a feeling that's actually going to be a pretty solid pickup for Commander, so you love to see it. Groovy cool. All right, our Jurassic World slot, we've got the Mountain. Holy cow, the amount of basic lands that we've seen in that slot is kind of staggering. All right. Here we have Fabrication Foundry, recently unbanned on Arena. It was only banned because it was literally bugged, similar to the Kunai not too long ago, where it just didn't work. But fortunately, Wizards kind of made a executive decision and just, banned it from everything, which is weird to open a draft pack and see a banned card in it. That's not something you see every day. But in any event, Fabrication Foundry, yeah, it taps to add white mana, spends mana only to cast an artifact spell or activate an ability of an artifact source. And the artifact itself costs 1 and a white, by the way. And then you can pay 3 tap, exile 1 or more other artifacts you control with total mana value X, return target artifact card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Pretty cool thing, and I suspect there are some combos with this waiting to be found. So, neat card. Here we have Treasure and Merfolk. Groovy cool. All right, we got 4 more packs. Let's keep it going, everybody. Oh. Boom. Doodle-doodle-doo and stuff. I'm just butchering this wrapping. A poor wrapping. Okay. Strike, Deathclap, Marionette. Atali's favorite. This honestly is a common that I really enjoy because it discovers 3 when it enters. You can do some silly stuff with that. I enjoy it. All right. Walk with the Ancestors. Yeah, there aren't many cards out there that can cascade into themselves. And that's one of them. And then, Curator of Sun's Creation. If you're doing Discover, this is a phenomenal payoff. It's a 3/3 for 4 that whenever you discover, you would just discover twice. Or you do discover twice instead. And so all of a sudden, you know, you hit a Trumpeting Carnosaur with this in play, discover 5 twice. Like, that could be backbreaking depending on what you hit. So, good stuff. Spring-Loaded Saw Blades. It's just a good piece of removal in white. You never meant to see it. You have a Swamp, foil, groovy. All right, our showcase card is Captain Storm once more, groovy. Our first rare is Starving Revenant, 4/4 for 4. ETBs, Surveil 2, and then for each card you put on top of your library, you draw a card and you lose 3 life. So it's like a one-time Sylvan Library style effect. The problem is, though, if you don't want to lose like 6 life, you know, to get those 2 cards, you have to dump them into your graveyard. And so your choices are get blasted and draw them, or put them into your graveyard and just lose them. Those are your only choices with this. And then it has Descend 8. Whenever you draw a card, if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So the Descend 8 on this is very powerful, but there are plenty of situations late in the game where you're gonna like not be able to afford the life hit. And you're going to take a look at, you know, you're going to surveil and you just have to let them go, even if they're cards you want. So, I don't know. Starving Revenant, there's a risk-reward factor with this thing that's pretty darn high. But at the same time, if you're drawing a lot of cards and you're filling your graveyard, that Descend 8's not going to be hard to get to, and this could be your win con. Or at least it can help soften your opponents up to help you get there. So, yeah, not bad. Now, note, it is target opponent, not each opponent. So, that's a thing. All right. Sentinel of the Nameless City, 3/4 for 3 with Vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you rock out a map token. This is just a good card. Like, this is a good green 3-drop. It's not amazing, not going to set the world on fire, but it's just rock solid. And I'm glad green is getting these. Just really good stats, upside, good card. All right. Altar of the Wretched. So this is from the Commander product. It is 2 and a black. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a non-token creature. If you do, draw X cards, then mill X cards, where X is that creature's power. Craft 1 or more creatures for 3, or for 4 rather, 2 black. Then you can pay 3, return it from your graveyard to your hand. This card's doing a lot. There's a ton of stuff happening here. It is a May on the sacrifice, which is great. But the other thing is, if you're in like Rakdos, and you have like a ball lightning style thing, like an Urabrask's Forge, where you have a large power creature that you're going to lose anyway, being able to drop this and then immediately turn that into like massive mill and card draw, like that's dope. And yeah, and then what does it turn into? It flips into the Wretched Bone Mass, which is a star. Its power and toughness are each equal to the total power of the exiled cards used to craft it. And it has flying as long as the card crafted has flying. Shoot, first strike, double strike, death touch, haste. The keywords. Okay, interesting. That is a powerful card. I dig it. Speaking of powerful cards, Hulking Raptor. This one has overperformed for me in Standard on every axis. This card is very, very, very good. It reads like it is fine. It is way better than fine. It is awesome. I love this card. So, yeah, sick. Ooh, here we go. Our Jurassic World card is Life Finds a Way. That was more Shatner than Goldblum, but you know what? That's what I was going for. You guys get it. Anyway, enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, populate. So if you have tokens, let's make more tokens. So if you're doing token shenanigans, this thing is silly. We'll take it. Miri Weatherlight Duelist is our special guest in this pack. Ooh, we actually got a special guest. You love it. Yeah, 3/2 first striking cat warrior. If you're doing the cat thing, if you're doing a warrior thing, I don't know. She's good. If you're doing like I've seen a lot of cat decks with Miri as the commander with good reason. It's just a really good card. So great, happy to see that. Then we have a map token and a dinosaur. All right, final 3 packs. What have we here? Boom. Join the Dead, Copium Blast, Pirate Hat, Daring Discovery, Pit of Offering, Merfolk Cave Diver, Swashbuckler's Whip, and there we go. Commons and uncommons out of the way. Fancy Forest, this artwork. Okay, when I saw the artwork previewed, I remember thinking, oh, they look kind of like travel posters. That's kind of cute. That's fun, I suppose. But seeing them in person, like looking down and actually seeing this card, they look great. Like these translate to cards perfectly. It is really nice. So yeah, is Gwynth versus Gisheth once more. You love to see it. Intrepid Paleontologist, 2-mana dork. If you're doing dino things, it gives you a little bit of recursion in the late game. You'll love to see it. Solid little 2-mana dork. Braided Net, we're back to doing artifact shenanigans. From the Commander product, we have Stormfleet Negotiator, 2/2 for 3 flying. Whenever it attacks, each player reveals the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you create a map token. Then each player draws a card. Ooh, I like that. As somebody who unironically runs Howling Mine in just about all my decks, this is actually really good. Everybody gets to draw cards. You get to make map tokens. Great. Anand Pakal, 1000th Moon. This is a card that I read and thought was going to be quite bad. I was wrong. This card is actually really, really solid. If you're attacking with stuff, you're rocking out gnomes. She's getting bigger as you go. She's a must-answer threat the moment she hits the board. Unfortunately, she's only a 1/2 for 3 at first. So you need to have something on board before she enters so that you can get that trigger the first turn. If you can't get that trigger the first turn, she's more or less a sitting duck that's going to die to any shock effect your opponent has. That hurts. Even then, though, if they have it in their hand when you drop her, they don't have to let you attack to do the thing. In any event, cool card, though. Really powerful commander if you're doing Boros aggro things. It's just good. Does good things. Ooh, here we go. Blue Loyal Raptor. 5/4 for 2 green-blue. And it partners with Owen Grady, Raptor Trainer, which we did open in this pack already. Awesome. For each kind of counter on blue, each other dinosaur you control enters the battlefield with a counter of that kind on it. Ooh, so if you're doing keyword counter shenanigans, this could get out of hand. And if your opponent puts a stun counter on it, they're being a bit of a dick. Anyway, yeah. So here we go. Stalactite Stalker, really solid 1-drop. Cool stuff. Happy to see it. Then we have a Vamp and a Dinosaur. All right, final 2 packs. Here we go. Making it happen. Poorly. There we go. Making it happen poorly. Story of my life. Let's go. All right. Now my veteran Pancultasaur. Cool. Hidden Cataract. Ooh, Nick Kanzel. Current Conductor. Not the former Conductor or the future Conductor. This is the current Conductor. Yeah, that's... Anyway. Ooh, a Spyglass Siren. This is actually one of the better lower rarity cards in the set. Just a 1/1 for 1 Siren Pirate with flying. It enters, you make a map token. It's doing all the things you want. You love to see it. Tendrils of the Myco Tyrant. Cool. Commons and uncommon stack continues to grow. Montanya. Hey, and here we go. Nikanzel, the current Conductor. Once more, there they are. So yeah, I should probably actually read what this card does. Whenever a creature you control explores a land card, so if you explore and reveal a land, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. That's actually really cool because the Explorer resolves, the land goes up in your hand, then you can drop it immediately. That's actually quite strong. Whenever a creature you control explores a non-land card, you put a counter on Nikanzel. So that creature gets a counter from having explored, and then Nikanzel does as well. Cool. And now, note, it also doesn't say other creature. So if you crack a map token and Nikanzel explores and you see a non-land, they'll actually get 2 counters. One from their own trigger and then one from the exploration and then one from their own trigger. Kind of cool. All right, here we have the Sunken Citadel as our first rare. Yeah, it's the one that gives you additional mana if you're activating lands. Another Stalactite Stalker, this time non-foil. Cool. Solid little one-drop Goblin Rogue. All right, from the Commander product. The reason I keep calling out the Commander product, by the way, is because it is easily the one I'm least familiar with. So it is an enchantment for X white. When it enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink at the beginning of your upkeep. If your devotion to white and black is 7 or greater, you create a 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying. That's a pretty cool enchantment. Rock out a bunch of vamps. Let's go. You'll love to see it. Ooh, here we go. This is the ancient one. This is a non-foil showcase. This is literally an 8/8 for 2. It's an 8/8 for 2. If that alone doesn't sell you on this card, I don't know what can. So it's an 8/8 for blue-black with a Descend 8. It can attack or block unless there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. But you can also, at any point, pay 2 blue-black. Don't even need to tap it. Draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to its mana value. So if you have large like reanimation threats in your deck, you activate this thing once, you dump a Villas or a Razakath or a Galta or whatever, and then all of a sudden you just mill yourself a whole ton. And as long as your deck has a critical mass of permanents in it, this thing's gonna be online, like immediately. Like it's not hard. And let's be real, if you're doing a hard to send deck, especially, you know, in formats like Commander, where you have access to your Hermit Druids and your Stitcher Suppliers and all that jazz, you're gonna have no problem getting this guy online. Like, no problem at all. You know, in theory, if you have to jump through both these hoops, it's gonna cost you a total investment of 6 mana. But in that process, you also fill your graveyard, which is pretty cool. And the only payoff is a vanilla 8/8 at that point. All right, sure. But let's be real. Again, you're going to be filling your graveyard much quicker. So yeah, this is going to be an 8/8 that you can play out on turn 2. Maybe it won't be able to attack and block until turn 3 or 4. But come on, like that's still incredible. And you know, if you're doing other mill stuff, you're not even going to have to spend additional mana to use this thing, and you have the option to activate it. Plus, if you're doing fling effects, fight rigging, anything that cares about the power of a creature you have on board, you don't care this thing can't attack or block. You have 8 power just sitting right there. No hoops necessary. It's just sitting there for 2 mana. Stupid. This thing's silly good. All right. Our Jurassic World card is a Swamp this time, rocking the Spinosaurus. Frill. Kind of lackluster, but that's okay. Here we have Treasure Map. That's a good one. Nothing wrong with that. Foil. Yeah, foil extended art. We have a Gnome and an Angel. Final pack. Here we go. This is it. All the marbles. We had a pretty good showing so far. I think we've hit a couple of bangers. Well, let's see what we can find in this pack. There's got to be something good. I know it. All right, we have our various commons and uncommons, various and sundries. All right, here we go. We got a Plains. Nothing wrong with that. It's pretty cool. All right, Caprocati Sunborn. Caparocti Sunborn. I'm sure I still butchered that pronunciation. 4/4 for 4. Whenever it attacks, you may tap 2 untapped artifacts and/or creatures you control. If you do, discover 3. That's actually pretty dope. So yeah, discover on a stick. Let's go. Vito, the Fanatic of Aklazotz. 4/4 for 4, and it is basically Sacrifice Omnath, meaning it has a series of triggers that it goes through, this time on whenever you sacrifice another permanent. And they're fine. It's just good value. If you're doing a lot of sack stuff, if you're doing an Aristocrat style thing, he's probably going to fit. I personally wouldn't build a deck around this, but at the same time, if you know, you certainly could, and it could be quite strong. So, rock on. Tarian's Soul Cleaver, legendary artifact equipment for 1. Equipped creature has Vigilance. Whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. Now here we go. If you're trying to do Aristocrat sack nonsense, this is where it's at. Also, if you have like a treasure token theme, then like all of those trigger, because this is another artifact or creature. It doesn't specify card. So if you have tokens getting sacrificed regularly or just dying throughout the course of the game, this thing's going to get really big really fast, and it comes down for 1 and equips for 2. Also, Vigilance is an underrated keyword, so holy cows. Yep, that could be quite strong. All right, From the Rubble. This is 4 white, again from the Commander product. This is an enchantment. As From the Rubble enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. At the beginning of your end step, return target creature card of the chosen type from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Huh. So they're coming back on the end step, which is really good. This is giving me like Dawn of the Dead vibes. And not the movie. There is a card called Dawn of the Dead, and what it does is it reanimates something on your upkeep, but you only get it for a turn. In this case, you get to keep them around, but they have the finality counter. So if they get sacrificed with that counter still on them, they go into exile instead. So it's a cool design, cool card. I'm intrigued at the possibilities. 6 mana seems a little steep for that effect these days, though, in my opinion. All right, here we have Restless Vents. This is the showcase non-foil. Creature land in Rakdos. Let's go. Oh, baby! There we go. That was the Jurassic Park hit we were looking for. Ravenous Tyrannosaurus. This is a 6/6 for 4 red-green with Devour 3. So it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This creature enters the battlefield with 3 counters for each creature sacrificed this way. When it attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 other target creature. Excess damage is dealt to the creature's controller instead. So it has Bite Trample. If you are doing any kind of like token scenario, go wide scenario, dino scenario, this card frickin' slaps. Speaking of cards that frickin' slap, Foil Showcase Get Lost. This is the premium removal from this set that is likely to see play in all kinds of formats. This card is nothing short of fantastic. The flexibility it gives you is clutch. And those map tokens in newer formats, in formats like Standard, giving your opponent a map token is actually a pretty big liability because you're giving them a mana sink that is going to be relevant. And the reason I say that is because in formats like Standard, creatures are very common. A lot of people will just have creatures lying around incidentally. In older formats, that's not always the case. And as a result, there are plenty of decks that cannot take advantage of a map token at all. And so blowing up your opponent's planeswalker or enchantment that they're going to use to carry, you know, the value throughout the game and replacing it with 2 map tokens, great. Like, you're going to win that game because you drew Get Lost. And as a result, I think a lot of people value this card pretty highly. And this is the fancy one. Ooh, get into that plastic. Yeah, feels good. Then we got a map token that is also a skeleton pirate token. So good stuff. All in all, I gotta say, this box was not bad. We had some packs that were a little underwhelming, but all in all, I'm pretty impressed with the takeaways here. I mean, we got the Gishath, we got the O'Hare Talk, we got the foil Galta. Like that's incredible. And then I'm never mad to see Lightning Greaves. Like who is, right? So all in all, no complaints. So these are actually, all these cards that we opened today are for magicjank.com, meaning that these and many more are available right now over on magicjank.com. Go check that out. And yeah, also, by the way, the merch store for for all the members of Team Magic Jank, including myself, are also housed over on magicjank.com. It's a ton of fun. And like I said at the top of the video, Quiver products, as of this recording, are currently on sale, 15% off. It's a big deal. If you want to rock up to an event in style, that is the best way to do it. So that is a holiday promotion that is going on magicjank.com. Get over there, check it out. If you need any singles, sealed products, magicjank.com. All right, everyone, have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one.